You know, Michael Jordan his whole career played 78 games a year. And that's not even counting the playoffs when you're playing, you know, in the preseason. So you're talking about 115 games a year. That dude probably played in about 112 of those 115 games.
But you have to really play hard. Does that hurt you physically?
No, because when I play hard all the time. You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all times.
In the debate, please. Here we go. 3 parts. One player has won the scoring title, regular season MVP, was first team defensive player, led the playoffs in scoring, and won the MVP in the finals. All 5 things. It's only happened 4 times in the NBA. You know who the 4 players who do it were? Jordan.
Michael never set out games. If Michael set out a game, he made sure he played at least 25 minutes so you saw him play. Whether it be preseason, he didn't miss any regular season games. But during preseason, where most stars sit out, he played.
We come to practice, he's on one leg. Like he was hurt the second year, he was on one leg the whole year and played 82 games. Wow. And so he practiced every day and he played every game on one leg. And so you're like, man, MJ, why don't you just sit up? How can I be the leader of the team and sit out and y'all going through all the credit? I gotta be there.
Stacey King carries perspective most online debates will never touch. While social media argues from clips and hot takes, he understands what true championship greatness looks like when you're beside it day after day. King wasn't studying Jordan through highlight reels or scrolling box scores from home. He lived it, grinding through practices and playoff runs while winning 3 straight NBA championships alongside the most dominant presence the game has ever produced. He saw the work no camera followed and felt the mindset that never made it to television. After watching 2 different eras unfold, King believes the debate can be settled with reality, not noise. What he shared cuts deeper than opinion, and it's why his words sparked so much conversation.
So I'm not coming from a biased position where I'm just like, oh, that was my era, so I'm being biased. No, my eyes don't lie. I know what I've seen. And as great as LeBron is, and he's fantastic, but he ain't fucking with MJ. Just based off the eye test and the skill level and some of the stats and the heart, nah, yo, no. I saw MJ play from his prime to his retirement. I saw Kobe play from his prime to his retirement. I've seen LeBron from his prime to his eventual retirement. How this young generation is so dismissive of this stat when they go, well, LeBron James has been to the finals this many, and he won this many times, but he's been this many times.
Across 22 full seasons, LeBron James has reached milestones Michael Jordan accomplished in just 13 years on the court. Take a moment to really process that difference. This isn't a narrow margin or a matter of interpretation. LeBron needed almost twice as long to match benchmarks Jordan hit, while also stepping away from basketball for 2 years to try professional baseball. That isn't opinion or nostalgia. It's simple math. And once you apply that math to the greatest of all time discussion, the foundation of the argument starts to crack. Look at it purely through the lens of efficiency. Jordan's 13 seasons produced 6 NBA championships, which comes out to roughly 1 title every 2 years he played. LeBron's 22 seasons have resulted in 4 championships, or about 1 every 5.5 years. When framed that way, the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. Jordan captured championships at more than double the rate LeBron has over his entire career. This isn't about diminishing LeBron's resume or denying his greatness. It's about acknowledging that Jordan operated on an entirely different plane of dominance. And the efficiency gap doesn't stop with rings. Jordan earned 6 Finals MVP awards in those 13 seasons. LeBron has 4 across 22. Jordan collected 5 regular season MVPs. LeBron has 4. Jordan led the league in scoring 10 times. LeBron has done it once in more than 2 decades. Jordan made the all-defensive first team 9 times. LeBron reached it 6 times. Across every major achievement that defines greatness, Jordan accumulated more, and he did it in far less time. That is what peak dominance truly looks like. And beyond the numbers, Stacey King points to something else modern debates tend to overlook entirely: Jordan's relentless commitment to showing up. Today's NBA is built around rest, load management, and carefully chosen appearances. Stars routinely sit games deemed unnecessary. Jordan never approached the game that way. King recalls how MJ played close to 78 games almost every season, essentially the full schedule. He pushed through minor injuries. He played preseason games while other stars rested. He suited up in small market exhibition games because he believed fans everywhere deserved to see him compete. The Bulls would travel to places like Lincoln, Nebraska for preseason matchups, and Jordan played. In an era where stars avoid games even in major cities, that mindset stands apart just as much as the championships. King remembers the thinking behind it clearly. Jordan believed he owed something to the people who paid to watch the game. He knew his salary, his endorsements, and the life he lived were all built on fans who showed up and cared. So if he was physically able to play, he played. No excuses, no personal maintenance days, no sitting out because something felt slightly off. It was full commitment to the game and to the people supporting it. Now compare that to today's NBA, where stars routinely sit out back-to-back games, take extended rest during the regular season, and treat an 82-game schedule like an unreasonable burden. LeBron has had plenty of rest days and missed games over his career. Again, this isn't about attacking anyone personally. It's about acknowledging that Jordan approached the game differently. Availability was part of his greatness. You knew MJ would be on the floor unless something truly serious happened. That dependability, that consistency, that warrior mindset is what separated him from everyone else. And then there's a statistic that shuts conversations down almost instantly. There's a rare achievement in basketball that represents absolute dominance. Winning the scoring title, regular season MVP, making first-team All-NBA, earning first-team All-Defense, leading the playoffs in scoring, and winning finals MVP all in the same season. It means you were the best scorer, the best overall player, an elite defender, and the top playoff performer at the same time. How many times has that ever happened in NBA history? 4 times. And who did it all 4 times? Michael Jordan. Not Magic. Not Bird. Not Kareem. Not LeBron. Just Jordan. 4 separate seasons of complete basketball supremacy. That isn't a debate point. That's documented dominance no one else has touched. LeBron supporters often point to finals appearances as the ultimate measuring stick. They'll highlight his 10 finals trips compared to Jordan's 6, but here's the part that usually gets left out. Jordan won every finals he reached. 6 appearances, 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs. Perfect and untouched. LeBron has been to 10 finals and won 4. That means he's lost more final series than he's won. Let that reality settle in. More losses than victories on the biggest stage. That isn't what ultimate greatness looks like. When Jordan and the Bulls reached the finals, opponents knew the outcome. Once Chicago punched its ticket, hope disappeared. Once the Bulls reached the finals, it was essentially decided. Everyone understood that Jordan wasn't walking off that stage without the trophy. The pressure never broke him. The moment never overwhelmed him. 6 times the spotlight burned brightest, and 6 times he delivered. Not one Game 7 collapse, not one disappearance, not a single instance where he faded when everything was on the line. That's the definition of true greatness. Performing when there is nowhere to hide and no excuses left to lean on. LeBron's finals resume tells a very different story. The 2011 finals against Dallas remain etched in history as one of the most shocking collapses ever from a superstar. That series was supposed to be his coronation. The Miami super team was assembled. Wade and Bosh were beside him. The chosen one era was meant to officially begin. Instead, he averaged just 17 points per game in the finals and vanished when Miami needed him most. Jason Terry outscored him across the series. Jordan never had a moment remotely like that. Not once in 6 finals appearances did he shrink from the occasion. Stacey King saw Jordan's leadership up close, and it shaped how he understands championship basketball. Jordan didn't simply coexist with talented teammates. He transformed them through relentless standards and sheer force of will. The intensity he brought to practice elevated everyone around him. Mediocrity couldn't survive in his orbit. Scottie Pippen became a Hall of Famer because Jordan constantly pushed him beyond his limits day after day. Dennis Rodman's rebounding reached historic levels because Jordan demanded perfection in every role. Steve Kerr hit championship-winning shots because Jordan created trust, opportunity, and confidence in the biggest moments. This is where the contrast with LeBron becomes clear. LeBron has consistently needed established stars already in their prime to win titles. In Miami, he aligned with Dwyane Wade, who already had a championship, and Chris Bosh, an all-star. In Cleveland's second run, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love were already elite. In Los Angeles, Anthony Davis was a proven superstar before they joined forces. LeBron doesn't turn role players into champions. He requires ready-made stars to contend. Jordan never operated that way. He stayed in Chicago and elevated whoever was on the roster. He didn't assemble super teams or recruit other superstars. He forced those around him to rise to his level through leadership, accountability, and example. That's the core difference in how greatness is approached. One player built dynasties from the ground up, while the other assembled contenders by stacking proven pieces together. It's an argument Stacey King has heard countless times, and in his view, it falls apart the moment you examine it closely. One of the most common claims is that Jordan competed in a weaker, less talented era. That idea doesn't survive basic scrutiny. Jordan went head-to-head with Magic Johnson and the Showtime Lakers. He battled Larry Bird's Celtics. He ran into Hakeem Olajuwon's Rockets. He fought through Karl Malone and John Stockton's Jazz for multiple championships. Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, Clyde Drexler, all Hall of Fame talents, all in their primes. That era was not soft. It was ruthless and physical. The style of basketball Jordan played was far more punishing than today's game. Hand-checking was legal. Defenders could body you, bump you, and force you to earn every basket through contact. Flagrant fouls weren't called for routine collisions. Technical fouls weren't issued for emotion or trash talk. It was survival basketball, and only the toughest thrived. Jordan still averaged 30 points per game for his career in that environment. If you dropped prime MJ into today's wide-open freedom of movement NBA, he'd likely push 40 a night. LeBron plays in the most offense-friendly era the league has ever created. The rules are designed to protect scorers. Minimal contact can result in flagrant calls. A glare can earn a technical. Spacing is maximized, shooters stretch the floor, and driving lanes are wider than ever. Even with all of those built-in advantages, LeBron hasn't matched Jordan's scoring dominance. One scoring title in 22 seasons compared to Jordan's 10 in just 13 years. The numbers simply don't support the idea that LeBron is the superior scorer or the more dominant offensive force. Then there's the cultural impact King watched unfold in real time. Jordan didn't just play basketball, he reshaped global culture. In just 13 seasons, he became the most recognizable athlete on the planet. He turned the Chicago Bulls from an irrelevant franchise into the most famous sports team in the world. He made basketball must-see television for people who didn't even consider themselves sports fans. His influence reached countries where basketball barely existed before him. The sneaker industry alone tells the story. The Jordan brand still dominates more than 2 decades after his retirement, outselling every current player's signature line combined. Kids who never watched him play still wear Jordans today. That isn't popularity. That's cultural permanence. LeBron has spent 22 years trying to approach that level of global influence, and he still isn't close. His sneakers don't move the way Jordan's do. His brand doesn't carry the same gravity. The cultural footprint simply isn't comparable. Space Jam captured Jordan's reach perfectly. That film introduced MJ to millions of kids around the world who had never watched an NBA game. It turned him into a character, a myth, something bigger than basketball itself. When LeBron attempted to recreate that moment with his own sequel, it fell flat. The impact wasn't there. The excitement wasn't there. It didn't resonate in the same way at all. Cultural dominance can't be forced or manufactured. It happens organically through undeniable greatness, or it never happens in the first place. Clutch performance is another area where Stacey King saw the separation up close. Jordan in pressure moments was inevitable. The shot over Craig Ello to end Cleveland. The flu game, barely able to stand, still dropping 38 and closing it out. The shrug game against Portland, 6 threes and a half. The final shot over Brian Russell to secure his 6th championship. These moments aren't highlights. They are definitions of what clutch actually means. When everything was on the line, when legacies were being written in real time, Jordan delivered every single time. LeBron has had big moments too, but he's also vanished when it mattered most. The 2011 finals against Dallas, Game 5 in particular, where he disappeared. Multiple playoff runs where his teams came up short because he didn't impose himself enough. When you're campaigning to be the greatest ever, those moments don't get erased. Jordan never had a series where his heart, effort, or competitiveness was questioned. He never folded under championship pressure. That consistency in the biggest moments is what separates legends from all-time greats. King also points to Jordan's defensive dominance, something modern debates often overlook entirely. Jordan won Defensive Player of the Year in 1988. He made 9 all-defensive first teams. He led the league in steals 3 times. He was a true two-way force, capable of locking down the opposing star while still being the best defensive player on the floor. That's complete basketball excellence. LeBron has never won Defensive Player of the Year. He's never led the league in steals. And in later seasons, his defensive reputation has taken hits due to lapses in effort. The mental side is another gap King observed that rarely gets discussed. Jordan's psychological warfare was championship level on its own, from relentless trash talk to brutal practice intensity, using every perceived slight as fuel. Someone said he couldn't shoot threes, so he came out and buried 6 of them in one half of the finals. Someone questioned his leadership, so he went on to win 6 championships as the unquestioned alpha. Jordan turned every doubt, every slight into fuel for domination. His mindset was just as lethal as his physical talent. LeBron's response to adversity has always looked different. When things go sideways, the frustration spills out through cryptic social media posts. Fingers get pointed at coaches or teammates. New situations get explored, searching for better circumstances and stronger pieces around him. He's changed teams multiple times trying to find the right formula. That's not bending the league to your will. That's adjusting to circumstances and hoping the equation finally works. Jordan never did that. He never bounced around looking for easier paths. He stayed in Chicago and turned that franchise into a dynasty. That's the distinction Stacey King wants people to grasp. Greatness isn't measured by how long you play. It's defined by how completely you dominate at your peak. Jordan reached a level of control over the NBA that LeBron has spent 22 seasons trying to reach. 6 championships, 8 finals appearances, 2 years spent playing baseball in the middle of his prime, 5 regular season MVPs, 10 scoring titles, a perfect finals record, 9 all-defensive first-team selections, a career average of 30.1 points per game, global icon status no athlete since has matched. All of it accomplished before LeBron even entered the league. The longevity argument LeBron supporters rely on actually works against the case. Playing longer without matching peak dominance just means spreading lesser seasons over more years. Jordan could have played into his mid-40s and chased every counting stat imaginable, but he didn't need to. He had already proven everything that mattered. He walked away on top, with nothing left to validate. That's confidence. That's a legacy locked in. LeBron is still playing at 40, still adding to the resume, because deep down everyone understands the peak alone wasn't enough. When it comes to greatness, quality beats quantity every time. Jordan's 13-year peak produced more championships, more MVPs, more scoring titles, and more complete dominance than LeBron's 22-year career totals. That isn't opinion. That's measurable fact. Longevity doesn't make up for a lower peak. 2 decades of very good can't replace a shorter run of absolute supremacy. That doesn't outweigh 13 years of being absolutely unstoppable. Stacey King doesn't even place LeBron in his top 3 all-time. In his view, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kobe Bryant, and Wilt Chamberlain all have stronger cases for the number 2 spot behind Michael Jordan. And that perspective comes from someone who won championships and lived inside that era. Kareem dominated the league for 2 decades, won 6 championships, and retired as the all-time leading scorer. Kobe captured 5 rings with a ruthless, unrelenting mentality that defined an era. Wilt put up statistical numbers that still look unreal even today. LeBron, in King's eyes, is fighting to stay in the top 5 conversation while Jordan sits alone at number 1. And the 2011 finals remain a permanent mark on LeBron's legacy. That was supposed to be his moment. The super team was assembled. The talent advantage was clear. The stage was set for a coronation. Instead, he folded, 8 points in a finals game. Outscored by role players, invisible when his team needed him most. Jordan never had a series like that. Not in college. Not in the NBA. Never when the pressure was highest. When everything was on the line, Jordan delivered every single time. Everything King witnessed during those championship runs shaped how he defines true greatness. The preparation Jordan demanded. The standards he imposed on everyone around him. The way he approached every game as if his legacy was on the line. That level of commitment isn't something you argue about. It's something you either reached or you didn't. Jordan reached it. He dominated completely. He won whenever it mattered, and he did it all in just 13 years. The GOAT debate shouldn't even exist. Jordan answered every question more than a decade ago. He left the game as an undisputed champion with nothing left unresolved. The only reason the conversation still lingers is because a new generation wants their guy to be the greatest ever. But wanting it doesn't make it true. Hope doesn't rewrite history. And no amount of longevity will ever equal Jordan's peak dominance. Michael Jordan conquered basketball in 13 years, 6 championships, a perfect finals record, 10 scoring titles, 5 MVPs, global icon, cultural phenomenon, the greatest to ever do it. The math is simple, and Stacey King already did it. What took LeBron 22 seasons, Jordan finished in 13. Case closed. The debate over the throne has only one seat, and Jordan claimed it in 1998 when he hit that final shot and walked away. Untouchable. Everything else is just noise. Now the question is simple. Do you value peak dominance or longevity more when defining greatness? Let me know where you stand in the comments.